Hello, welcome to my channel. This story is long overdue, but I figured it was time to present it to you guys. Today I want to talk to you about the journey of my recovery. As some of you have guessed and some of you know that I am in recovery. I am a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. If I could fast forward to the end, by the grace of God, last year I celebrated 28 years of continuous sobriety. The hardest part for me was just getting started. I had to admit that I was powerless over alcohol and drugs, and that my life had become unmanageable. Once I was able to admit that, everything else fell into place for me. If I was to tell you the whole story, I'd have to start with the first time I ever had a drink or a drug. And in all honesty, I really don't remember. It was definitely a sip off of my father's beer. That was definitely my first drink. So between age 4 and age 14, there was a lot of times where I experimented with alcohol. Alcohol fascinated me because I knew that it would change the way I felt. I got this from just watching the people around me. So at age 14, when I jumped in with both feet. At middle school, or what we used to call junior high school, I was actually a pretty good student. Definitely on the nerdy side of things. But like many adolescents, I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be cool like the other kids, you know? So high school for me was a blur, or a big cloud. I don't remember a lot of it. I graduated high school mostly because they didn't really want me to stay. I had signed up to join the Air Force, and they figured, well, let's just give them a passing grade, get them out of here. So then at the age of 17, maybe a week after school ended, I found myself at basic training for the United States Air Force. There's a saying in AA, if you're a donkey and you get on a train in New York and then you get off the train in LA, you're still a donkey. What that means for my story is that when I got to the Air Force, I was still a drug addict and alcoholic. So I found other drug addicts and alcoholics. My career in the U.S. Air Force was short-lived. I stayed in for 7 months, and it was very similar to high school. Just like the administration at my high school, the United States Air Force didn't want me to stay. They said, Danny, you can leave. We're going to give you an honorable discharge, but just don't come back. So when I got out of the Air Force, I sent a box ahead of, and hitchhiked cross country from Illinois to Hartford, Connecticut. Again, with the donkey analogy, it was still me. I was still in active addiction. I tried to do a few different jobs, but they always had rules. They wanted me to show up on time, stuff like that. So I decided I was going to get married because that will straighten me out. I still couldn't hold down a job, so I ended up trying to be a herbal merchant. So at the time in 1982, marijuana wasn't legal. So sometime in, I think, February or March, I had a knock at my door, and it ended up being the Hartford Police Department undercover. Go, go, go! This isn't exactly what happened, but it was close enough for me to go ahead and use it for this scenario. Thanks to Evan Games for letting me use this clip. So I was arrested, and they confiscated my herbs and took me to the police station, where I was allowed my one call. So I made my one phone call, and I told my lovely wife, I said, hey, we didn't get robbed, so don't worry, we got raided. And I'm at the police station. And she told me, oh, by the way, I talked to the doctor and I'm definitely pregnant. That was how I heard about our first child, my oldest son. So I got out, on bond, and I got a public defender. I also knew I needed to change my occupation because selling marijuana, which was the herbs I had, you probably guessed that already. I needed to do something else. So I actually went to school to become a bartender. And I was a certificate carrying bartender by the time my oldest son was born in October of 82. It's a long story, but it's my story, from beginning to end. I mean, drug addict, alcoholic, there were so many different drugs that I've tried in my life, all of them that I could get my hands on, really. As far as alcohol goes, I did just about every type of alcohol you could drink. Yeah. So fast forward a little bit. I had several jobs when my oldest was still a baby. I tried to make money doing this or that. I didn't have a college degree. I did a lot of sales jobs because I had the knack for salesmanship. My father was a salesman also. Which brings us up to 1985, and my second son was born. I was away during the pregnancy. It wasn't good. We were on rocky ground when I came back. I was dealing marijuana, and I started with cocaine, because why not, right? So my wife and I had a discussion about life and where we were at, and I said, what do you want me to leave? And she said yes. So the beginning of 1986, I was out of the house. There was nothing holding me back now with my disease, I didn't have to maintain a balance. Things went from bad to worse. I got deep into my addiction, and got to be the point where I was using all the time. By July of 1986, I was in my first detox. I was there because I just had like an emotional crash. I've been soaring at 30,000 feet, and eventually you do have to crash. I only stayed in a detox for 3 days, and I only stayed clean 3 days out of the detox. But that was the most time I had been clean since I was probably 13 years old or something. Six months later, I was in my next detox, and this was a treatment program. So they wanted to keep me longer. They wanted to keep me 28 days. Yeah. I wasn't doing it for me, I was doing it for my mom, and after 10 days, I decided to sign myself out. AMA, which is against medical advice. The following year, I was basically a closet junkie. I was back at my mom's house. I would use, and then I wouldn't use for a week to 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, and then I would use again, and so on and so on. The pattern kept repeating. The following January of '88, I had partied all night long with a friend of mine, and we were doing some LSD, so we were up all night, and the next morning I couldn't sleep because I was still on the drug, and I started thinking about my life, where I had been. I was 26 years old. I was divorced. I was a father that wasn't living with his children. I hadn't accomplished anything in life at this point. It was Thursday night when we went out partying all night long. So it was Friday, on the day where I had a glimpse of hope. Another way to put it is a moment of clarity, and as it turned out, that at the top of my street there was going to be an NA meeting at the church that night. So that was the night I surrendered. I went there, surrendered, got my 1-day key tag, and started to change my life. Now, I wish I could tell you that I've been clean and sober ever since then, but that's just not the case. This disease is cunning, baffling, and powerful. I didn't get it the first time around. My first real effort at sobriety, I did stay clean and sober for 5 months, which was pretty amazing. But then I relapsed. Now, I didn't go back to the hardcore drugs, but marijuana and alcohol is what I relapsed on. So it was 5 months the first time, and then I had 100 days, and then I had about, 15 months, I think it was. And then I had about a year, and then I surrendered again, really surrendered. And I was able to put together 4.5 years, which was great. But one thing I learned in life is that I have a built-in forgetter. I forget that I'm a drug addict and alcoholic. And I also think that maybe I could try it again this time. So after 4.5 years, I relapsed. The beginning of 1996. I found someone who was willing to drink with me on a daily basis, so her and I were drinking buddies, and roommates and, everything else. We thought we were soulmates. So on May 10th of 1996, it was just a regular day. Just a regular day for someone who smokes pot and drinks. I definitely had some substances in my body. I wasn't really drunk. I wasn't really high. It was just a normal day. But for whatever reason that day, I remembered that I had sobriety in the past. I had 4.5 years of sobriety, and it was good times. It was good, So I made a decision to stop drinking, stop doing drugs. I made this decision for both of us. So the next day, on May 11th of 1996, we went to a meeting, and that is my sobriety date. It's coming up on 29 years now. I'm not going to tell you that every day was easy. It wasn't. There was really hard days, So in sobriety this time around, I've been divorced twice. My mother passed away. Those were the hardest things. I went through incarceration for child support. Yep, I sure did. A long weekend, Friday to Monday. It wasn't fun. But I got through it. I didn't pick up. One crucial ingredient in this whole mix is that God came into my life. Now, God never left me. God had always been there for me, but I didn't know that. So I had to accept God in my life. And that's what I did. Now my relationship with God is the most important relationship that I have. More important than anything. You know, God is first. Even if somebody significant is in my life, God comes before them. Always. Today I love being clean and sober. It's given me a career. I went back to college in my 40s, and my degree study was to be a drug and alcohol counselor. That was what I went to school for, and I worked in the field for a number of years. It's been good. I've been blessed because the obsession to use drugs and alcohol has been lifted from me. It's not there anymore. Yeah, I mean, it was before, early on. I thought about it. I thought, well, hey, maybe I can smoke a joint, or maybe I can have a drink, a little champagne, a little wine, whatever it is. But those thoughts aren't there anymore. Now I know better. So I'm always going to be a drug addict and alcoholic. That's for sure. That's a real wake-up call. But one thing is for sure also, is that I would rather die with this disease of alcoholism and drug abuse than from this disease. I love you all. So if you like this video, please click the like button. Feel free to share it. Feel free to put a comment. I do appreciate all you guys. Thanks for listening. God bless you. Bye.